Today we're going to be taking a look at 12 different t-shirts that were selling at least 100 units a month in July of 2023, not 2024, because last year it was pretty much dominated by the political shirts. But I think this is a fun exercise. Let's look back in time at some of the most dominant t-shirts on Amazon. And I'm sure a lot of these are still selling today, but it's going to give us a good idea of, well, preparing for just next month. Now we're looking past July 4th, so it's not going to be any July 4th shirts. I wanted to filter them out intentionally. They're going to be pretty much all evergreens. Let's get to it. The first shirt you see here says, "Sorry, can't talk. I'm on my other line." And it's got the, answer call, hang up call, phone buttons, but simple design, big, bold, easy to read, white text on a black shirt. And it's got the silhouette of a guy fishing. By the way, silhouettes are one of the easiest ways to do designs because, well, it's a silhouette, And the cool thing about silhouettes is if you're using graphics that you didn't create, but of course that you have the rights to use, you can just apply a color overlay. You know what I mean? So there might be a graphic that you love the outline, but you don't like the actual design that's in it. Well, you can go into any graphic editing software, add a color overlay. In this case, the color overlay would be white, and then just make it available for sale on dark colored t-shirts. Now, shout out to whoever's selling this shirt because they're currently charging $24.95 as their price point. And if you've never tried pricing your shirts up, I would recommend it. I've been listing all my new shirts this year at $21.99 because I think the market can support it. I think the psychology of $19.99, I think people are grasping that, hey, like inflation's really bad and we're going to be getting used to $25 t-shirts sooner than later. But that's completely up to you guys. But it's definitely still working for this seller who has 308 reviews on this listing. By the way, in Merch Dominator, that's the research tool I used in order to go back in time. I used their archive feature over here under MBA and KDP. You can hit the archive and then input the date. I just wanted to show you that when it's indexing all these products, you can actually scroll down and you can see the history of the price, the history of the BSR. Up here, you can actually set the time frame. So if I hit all time on this shirt, you'll see that the best stretch that it had was actually from, it looks like September of 2023 through May of 2024. And then for one reason or another, the BSR started to get a little bit more volatile. Perhaps they were running ads during this stretch right here. It's hard to know for sure, but a lot of times when you see a really low BSR that's kind of out of character, it might be the result of ads. You can get keywords to optimize that are driving traffic to that listing, and you can get long tail keywords as well. Just wanted to make you guys aware. Next shirt is a tarot card design, but it's a skeleton doing deadlifts. Get it? Skeleton, deadlifts. Anyways, this shirt is still only $13.99. I don't know why they wouldn't price that higher, especially with almost 400 reviews. But it's a really cool design. If I was going to sell anything related to this design, I would be using AI. Personally, I'm not a great designer. I like to joke, famously, I'm not a good designer, but that hasn't stopped me from multi-million-dollar print-on-demand sales. So, hey, we have the technology, use it. Anyways, it's a beautiful design. I love the color contrast, by the way, of the pink in the background juxtaposed against the darker colored shirts. And if you didn't know, if you're on Amazon merch and you make the color black available, well, that's going to be your default thumbnail. So I always say, make your design look as good as possible against a black shirt. Okay. Next design is the "I work on computers" t-shirt design. And by the way, this design to me just looks like a t-shirt design. Like I would not know how to describe it as anything other than a design that was made to be sold on a t-shirt. Just look at the font, look at the colors. I don't know, something about it. This has 224 reviews and they're priced down at $16.99. If I had anywhere close to that many reviews, I would be charging no less than absolute minimum $19.99, but I'd be very tempted to up my price like the first shirt we saw up to $24.99. And just as a reminder, these shirts are all, or I should say they were all based on their previous BSR, which Merch Dominator has indexed for us at that moment in time. They were doing on average, 100 plus sales a month. Doesn't mean that I knew, I didn't go back in time and look at the fishing shirt and see that they were charging $25. The funny thing is we can actually do that if we go over here in Merch Dominator and then filter it out to a longer time frame. It not only does it track the BSR, which is the blue line, but it tracks the price, which is the green line. And it looks like that shirt that we were just looking at actually was $19.99 for the longest time. And you can actually see that that is probably, it says that's the list price right there. But Amazon's probably doing an automated sale. And that's why if we go to the last like 30 days, you can see that the price has been kind of variable between $19.99 and $16.99. Or whether Amazon's forcing them to do that or not, if you reprice your own stuff and you get that red text that you just saw, let me open it up one more time. The red text right there, that really increases your conversion rate and can be good for spiking sales. And, you know, more sales leads to more visibility, which leads to more sales. It creates this flywheel effect that Amazon's known for. So that was a cat shirt. Now we've got a dog shirt. Look how simple this design is. Anybody who thinks that they're not a good enough designer to make it with print on demand, it doesn't get much simpler than this. Just a dog paw. They did add like a little bit of texture to it. You can easily do that in a design app like Kittle, would make it real easy to do. And then 4 different colors, you know, orange, yellow, light blue, dark blue, and white. Simple. It's got 233 reviews, $15.99 price point. What's not to love there? Simple, simple, simple. Next design, Colorado flag t-shirt. And it's got, you know, a distressed effect. But guys, if you're running out of ideas for uploads, which I know what it's like. I remember back when I was getting started, it seems so silly to me today when I've been at it for so long and I've got, you know, notes in my cell phone of just infinite ideas. But you know, you can do state flags. And it's not like they just copy pasted the Colorado state flag. They took out the, you know, most famous portion, I would say, the most identifiable, and they distressed it, you know, and it's a simple design, but 60 reviews, 4.4 average review. Of course, the distressed design has the lowest average review. Maybe it's because of that. And they're getting paid, you know, $16.99 price point, making a few bucks per sale there, completely automated. Next one, I may be old, but I got to see all the good bands. And they have a $20.99 price point. They sold over 200 in the past month. I bet you this is a popular one every year in June for Father's Day. 1,456 reviews, by the way. So easily hitting that 100 sales a month mark. And again, my purpose of this video is just to get you excited about all the different niches, all the different design styles. I mean, for the most part, these are evergreens as well. But to me, every winning t-shirt starts with a good design independent of the niche, because a bad design, no matter what niche you're in, isn't going to have, you know, the juice to get you to 100 sales a month. But a good design in a good niche, well, hey, then it comes down to things like, do you know how to optimize for SEO? Did you know, make good color contrast against the black shirt if you made the color black available? Things like that. Are you running ads? It's not required to be successful, but it'll certainly increase the likelihood of success in the short to intermediate time frame. Okay, and again, just in case you're curious and you want to enter any of these niches, just scroll down. You've got all the primary keywords. I recommend focusing on the long tail keywords with new uploads. For instance, you might not have thought that, like, look what's driving traffic: 60th birthday gift, 40th birthday, 50th birthday, baby boomers, right? You might not have thought of those keywords, but Merch Dominator's figuring out that, hey, these are driving traffic and converting. And it's doing all the work for you. By the way, Merch Dominator linked below. You're going to save a ton of time and improve your SEO at a minimum using a research tool like Merch Dominator, which is why I use it. This shirt right here says, I hate pulling out. And then it's got the sea anchors there. And it's got in the design, you know, that sunset, the vintage retro sunset with a truck pulling a boat. 300 plus reviews, $16.99 price point. Next design says, guess what? Chicken butt. About as simple as it gets. If you ask me if this design would have been successful, I would have said, you know, you might make 1 sale a month, because it just seems so silly, so random. But what do I know, right? Eight plus years in the game, selling print on demand, multi-million-dollar sales. I don't know anything apparently, because this shirt has over 5,000 reviews. Okay, 5,000 reviews. And I've heard that review rates can be like 5% on Amazon. So you could literally times that by 20 to get the number of total sales as a projection. Absolutely insane. That's like what, 20,000 sales, something like that. Yeah, maybe 25,000, just insane. Next design says, it's weird being the same age as old people. Now this has over 2,000 reviews and 300 plus bought in the past month. You know, something like that's going to be good for Father's Day. And just look at the color scheme. I think that's what makes this design special. That kind of vintagey, I don't know, for some reason it makes me think of like the mountains, you know, just kind of like a Colorado-esque color scheme. And when I see something like that, I might screenshot it, pull it into Photoshop, use the eyedropper tool, and then just make a note to myself. You know, I put a little label on it, and I'll save those color schemes, because I don't know when in the future I might be working on a simple text-based design and need a color scheme. And no, I'm not saying to copy it. I'm just saying, hey, like maybe I'm just adding it to different rows of text, but sometimes just introducing color can make a world of difference for winning designs. And if you've got 2,000 plus reviews, I think it's safe to say this one is a winner. Next design, just another idea here. It says, I'm 3 and digging it. So this is obviously a scalable kind of templated approach to design where you would replace the 3 with the 4 with the 5. So this one's for a 3-year-old, 3rd birthday, construction niche, etc. And you can make a lot of money just selling shirts to the youth. I know most people, like I'm guilty of this, like I avoid a lot of the youth optimized shirts because it has a stricter content policy. And hey, I'm just trying to keep my account out of trouble. But in doing so, I'm not competing with a bunch of people who are maybe exclusively in the youth niche. It's not really a niche, right? But you know what I mean. When you're uploading to Amazon merch and you check the youth box, it is subject to a stricter content policy. So, I mean, for me, I've just mainly avoided it, but that presents opportunity. If you think about it, probably reduce competition if I had to guess. Because it's not like adults are buying the I'm 3 and digging it shirt, right? Well, I mean, yes, adults are buying it, but not to wear it. This has over 300 reviews. That was shirt number 10. We've got 2 more to go. This is a Types of Dinosaurs shirt, the dinosaur alphabet. It has over 2,000 reviews. And you know what I love most about this is that whoever put the work in to create this design, having to come up with 26 different dinosaur ideas, then the dinosaur graphics, then add all the text and make it all fit. You know, to me, they deserve a lot of credit. They deserve the success because who is really trying to put in that much work for a single t-shirt design? Like not many people are willing to do that. And I love that they were rewarded accordingly for their good work. I think their design is great. Color contrast is great. Good font choice, all those things. Doing over 100 sales a month when I would look back in time, again, 2 years ago, July. I imagine they're still doing really well with over 2,000 reviews. All right, last design. This was the #1 bestseller when I was doing my research using the Merch Dominator Merch Archive. Okay, looking back at a non-election year, July after the 4th, what do you know? The I'm Not Old, I'm Classic, which by the way, over 2,000 sales in the last month. That, by the way, this is in 2025. Okay, this is not looking back in time right here. So that means, of course, Father's Day crushed it. They're closing in rapidly on 10,000 reviews. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't extremely jealous of whoever created this shirt, as they just make an ungodly amount of money off of it every month. Tip of the hat to you, brother, whoever it is, or whoever, male or female. What more do we need to say? Classic car themed shirt. I love the simple monotone design. It's literally gray on black with a distressed effect applied. Simple, and it works. I mean, hey, sometimes simple sells. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I used Merch Dominator to do this research. It's linked below. Of course, that was using Amazon Merch, all these shirts that you saw. If you're not selling through Amazon Merch, I would go ahead and apply. It's the best way to make money with print on demand, in my opinion. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the next video.